Thank you for joining us for this episode of the OI Show. Today, we're going to be talking about turning your medical optical into a fashion accessory experience on the OI Show. Thank you for joining us today. As I mentioned, we're joined by Fabio Pineda, and he has got an incredible practice that is doing some things a little bit different. Fabio, thank you for joining us for the OI Show.
Oh, thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's exciting. I've been following you on social and just hearing about some of the things that you're doing in practice and just crushing it. Tell us a little bit about your practice, how long you've had it, where you practice, and so forth, and then we'll get into all these wonderful questions I have for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my practice is called Eye Boutique. I'm based out of Houston, Texas. We are exactly 1 year old as of the end of April. So exciting times, exciting times. I've been in this business for almost half of my life. I owned a previous practice, which I sold off a couple of years ago. And I actually went off and became a brand ambassador for some of the luxury lines that most offices have in their practices. So that's basically a little bit about myself and the background into this business.
Who are you a brand ambassador for?
I worked for Kering Eyewear. I was the brand ambassador for Saint Laurent, for Bottega Veneta, for Stella McCartney, and Mont Blanc.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. So what enticed you to say, hey, I think I want to open my own shop and make this my own?
So as I previously stated, I owned a previous office. It was very medically driven, like most offices tend to be, high volume. We were very successful. But eventually it came to difference in vision with my partner. He wanted to continue on the same path of being medically driven. And I foresaw the future of optometry and this business going into the luxury space and more of a bespoke experience. So we decided to part our ways. I did my homework and due diligence when I worked with Kering Eyewear, learned all things fashion. And from there, I decided to build a unique concept, a unique experience for my customers. And so far, it's been very well received.
You said a bespoke experience. Describe that for me.
So basically, my office is appointments only. We would accept a walk-in if we didn't have one. Unfortunately, if somebody was in the office, we would have to schedule the patient that had just come in. The customer experience when you're coming in is fresh cappuccinos. We have a full barista menu. We do wines. We do champagnes. This is a sit-down service where the customer basically is just here to enjoy themselves. This is not a rushed experience. This is an overall just more of a tailor-made exam, basically.
So, do you have eye exams at your practice?
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm thankful that I have great colleagues that have received and are willing to share this experience with me and go along this journey. And so far it's meshed very well.
So I see what you just described to me from the optical experience, but is the exam experience any different, and how does it fit in?
It is different in the way that the doctor does the full evaluation. We don't do my employees don't do the pre-testing. The doctor does everything from beginning to end.
Soup to nuts.
Why is it done this way? It's more of a personalized experience. The patient deserves to have that one-on-one time with the doctor. They need to be able to familiarize themselves and become comfortable with them. That way they don't just feel like they are just one other patient and just another number. You build a relationship, you build a rapport that way, and it and it just carries on into the whole experience itself.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So one of the things you mentioned is you did your due diligence.
Yes.
If I was wanting to open a practice like yours, what would I do for due diligence? Like, where do I learn about stuff like this, right?
Okay.
Within our
So
industry, or I'm sure you took stuff from outside our industry, right?
absolutely, absolutely. So what I mean by that is all things in my office are luxury and are treated as such. All of my brands have history. All of my brands have a beginning story to where they are at today. It is your job as the person selling designer eyewear to know this history. You need to be
Mm-hmm.
able to let your customers know what exactly it is that they're buying. They need to have the same connection as if they were going to one of their stores. I carry, let's say, Fendi. So it's the same experience that you would have going into a Fendi store. If you ask a sales associate at Fendi to tell you about the history, they will tell you all about the history. So that is the same concept that we apply here. Why do we do this? Because these products are not medical devices. They are fashion accessories and should be treated as such. And that's where the disconnect is in optometry.
Mm.
Most offices still believe this is a medical device with a sticker on it, and that's not the case. These are high curated items. These are items that take sometimes anywhere from 8 months to 1 year to be produced from beginning stages to the end. And those are things that I learned while working for Caring. So that's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
passionate about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that is a key component. You know, when my grandfather was an optometrist, he would personalize every single pair of glasses to the patient, which would include engraving their name inside the temple. And then when he passed away, I got boxes and boxes of glasses accessories that he would put bling on them, or he
Okay.
would put the name,
Okay.
put the person's initials in, on the
Nice.
lens,
Yeah.
right? And it seems as if what he was doing was he was selling a fashion accessory.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then it seems like as commoditization has occurred,
Mm-hmm.
that we've gotten away from this fashion
Yes.
component, and eye care providers have said, well, we're medical and we've worked so hard to be doctors and medical, so now everything
Yes.
we do is medical, and we've
Yes.
gotten away from that,
That's right.
myself included. I'm sure I'm guilty in many ways. But you've taken things in a different direction, it sounds like, and going in
Yes.
that old school approach of how,
Yes.
like my
That's right.
grandfather
That's
did.
right. So the reason behind this is the the sales experience doesn't transfer, or it doesn't mesh very well when you treat it as just medical. It takes the excitement out of the purchase altogether, because you
Mm,
just feel like you're in there for another medical exam. That's why you have the pushback from customers when you tell them their bill, how much their total is. That's when you start hearing, well, is there something else that you can do for me? Is there a discount? Um, can you show me something less expensive? It's because it's not romanticized. You've already taken out the excitement. Whereas if you go, let's say, we'll bring back Fendi up again. If you go into a Fendi store and you buy, and you're going in there for a pair of shoes, you're not going up to the sales associates and asking them, hey, can you give me a discount on these Fendi shoes? Because
mhm.
you want to walk out with that purchase. It brings you a smile. You get to show off that shiny bag, and that's what is being disconnected from optometry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna phrase it in a particular way. I'm sure you
Mm.
take every low-paying insurance that is out there to reimburse you, $30 for a frame and lenses. I'm sure that's a big part of how you've grown to be successful in only 1 year.
Yep.
How does this play into your decision making?
So I take everything out of network, obviously.
Yeah. Yes.
I partnered with Anagram, which has been great for me. I do not
Great.
like I do not like filing insurances. It's not my strong point. It's not something that I care to do, and this takes all of the problems out from under me. It's basically plug and play. They've been great partners, and I can't say anything bad about them.
Mm,
So what I end up doing is, I'm just basically upfront with the customer. It's, your insurance benefits with my office cover this much, and that's basically it. You can't overcomplicate the sell. I'm fortunate enough, and what's happened is because of the way that my office has been built and the look of it, if people want to come and shop here, they are willing to just come out of pocket for the rest.
hmm.
That's been the major connect.
Sure.
Whereas in my previous office, I ran into those problems. Whereas, oh, can you do something else on top of what out of network does? Because, or if not, I'm going to go to an in network doctor. It was those kind of pushbacks. Here, it's I'm here. I want the experience. I want to be able to sit down. I want to drink wine. I want to drink champagne. I want to have fresh pastries with my cappuccino. I want to make sure that my time is mine and nobody else is going to come in and there's not going to be 50 people waiting inside a waiting room and people are paying the premium because of it. Or
Mm-hmm.
they're willing to pay the premium.
Yeah. Tell us about Anagram.
So Anagram is only for out of network offices. They file all your insurance claims through the major, insurance providers, where it be VSP, IMED, Spectera, Aetna Vision. All I can go on and on and go
Mm-hmm.
on. They just take the headaches out from under you.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can type in the patient's information up
That's right.
front, and then they
That's
can
right.
tell you what the out of network benefits would be, and then
Exactly.
they file everything on your behalf, so
That's right.
you don't touch it at all, right?
I don't touch anything at all. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it gives you the option where, some plans, uh, either it will send my office the check or it will send the check to the patient. They're usually very diligent about it, and patients are receiving their reimbursements between, 1 and 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've had zero, and I mean zero claims not processed.
Yeah.
So that's an entire year. That's hundreds of patients at this point, and I haven't had a single mistake or a single denial on a claim.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're not sponsored by or promoting Anagram in
No,
in,
no, no,
in, in, in
absolutely
any way, but I think it's important for people to realize
not.
that you are allowed to take. In my practice, we don't take Spectera. We take VSP and IMED, but if somebody walks in the door, I think a natural inclination is to say, "Oh, we don't take your insurance," and then the patient walks out.
Walks out.
But when you can say, we can help you get connected for your out of network benefits, which normally a patient
Right.
would be able to do, and if they bought glasses
Right.
out of a network anywhere, but Anagram just takes that hassle out of your hands and out of
Yep.
the patient's hands, and
That's
then
right.
it works through that way.
That's right.
So that's real slick. Yeah,
It is. It
very
is.
cool.
And it's and it alleviates a lot of scenarios, because normally if a patient wanted to use their out of network benefits, they would have to go and file the claim themselves. Whereas
Right.
here, it's done for them, and the less that the patient has to do, the easier the sales experience is going to be for them and for yourself.
Yeah. So I presume that you do maybe a little more training with the people that you work with than
Yes,
maybe most places.
absolutely.
Are you looking for people to come and work for you right now? It seems like everybody in the country is looking for somebody.
So unfortunately enough, I do not. I am
There you
not looking
go.
for people to fill my office, because the way that my office is built out, I don't need a large staff to run my
Uh-huh.
office. The way that it's structured from beginning to end, this office could honestly run with one OD and one sales associate. And that is it. That is all that's needed, because we are not overbooking. We do not need to see volume.
Mm-hmm.
And it just alleviates a lot of stress. More patients does not equal more sales. It equals more overhead sometimes. Whereas some doctors are looking to fill in, hire another OD, hire more sales associates, hire more lab people, and they're having to see, at minimum 10 more patients a day, 15 more patients a day, because the overhead just gets so out of control that you have to continue to sell, and you just become, you basically can't escape that. You're just stuck in your ways. Yeah, you eventually just get stuck.
You must have metricized all of that even before you started in order to say,
Yes.
hey, I intend to do this.
Yes.
What can you share with us without getting too personal, or get as personal as you want? What can you share that you set out to do when you launched, as far as number of patients or revenue per hour or whatever it was that you intended to do? You've got a beautiful facility. Obviously, you're having to pay rent, right?
Yes. So my biggest expense here is obviously it's my rent. I paid a premium to be in the location where I'm at. I was comfortable with that. I had a number in mind. And then as far as my employee base, as doctors are concerned, it's usually about the same as my rent per month. So, it's simple math. We don't need to overcomplicate this. It's your rent plus your overhead, divided by number of days and hours that you're open. And that will usually give you what you need to sell per day. I like to do everything equally. So if my rent, we'll just do round numbers here. If my rent is 5,000, my employees are 5,000, then my added expenses for orders, let's say frames, lenses, contacts, whatever it is, we do another 5,000. So that just tells me right there and there that my break even is $15,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple. $15,000 a month is usually 2 patients, 3 patients per day. That's not unattainable by any means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's
is this a 5-day, a 7-day?
We'll do a 6-day. We'll do a 6-day. We'll say it's Monday through Saturday kind of ordeal, and that's not having doctors every day. No, that's not saying every day.
Sure.
If you do this right, you can have doctors every other day. That way you're able to see your patients on a full day. Let's say you see 8 patients or 6 patients a day. All you need to do is just average out to 3 patients a day.
In the optical experience.
Yeah,
right?
That's it. Just 3 patients a day. Whereas, where I would say other offices, they have to hit the ground and have to see 10, 15 patients a day. If not, they're in trouble.
Yeah. And so you're scheduling out not only for the doctor appointment, but also for the optical appointment. And some of these patients are coming in and they're getting their eye exam, and then they leave. Then they come back for the optical experience. And I presume that the reason why that works for you, because if any of us that are taking low paying insurances do that, we lose the patient, right? Because they're not there for their medical. But these people are drawn to you initially because of this. I like how you said it, the bespoke experience, the fashion concept of this being a fashion eyewear. And they're probably not seeing although you have fantastic doctors, not seeing the doctor because of what they're doing, but because it's within the environment, right?
That's right. So let me tell you what the success of this is. Yeah. It's not letting anybody be more than the store itself. You have to remember that you're building a brand. And if you want to further expand your brand, you need to be able to let the brand be the face itself. The doctor can't be the face of the store,
right?
And neither can I as the business owner. You need to be able to function exactly the same, whether you are there or you're not there.
Right, and that's a tough one for a doctor owner who wants to be the everything, right? But
Absolutely.
you're really working, and there's a fantastic book, and I'm sure you've read it, called The E-Myth, and it talks about how you can be the technician doing the work, you can be the manager who oversees it, or you can be, the owner who is setting up processes and systems. And basically what you're telling me is that you can set up these stores
Hmm.
all over Houston or all
Yep.
over Texas, and
Hmm.
kind of have this process built up.
That's
So
right.
when I come in for an optical experience, how long am I spending in your office on average?
30 minutes. 30
Mm-hmm.
minutes. 30 minutes to an hour max. So your initial intake, I schedule my patients out every 30 minutes. That way, when you come in, you're initially getting worked into the system. We take your, all your information. There are no, oh, by the way, my office is paperless. There is not one sheet of paper here. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is as far as the only thing you're going to find in my office as far as paper. um, the patient does nothing. We take, I run on iPads. There's not one PC in here either, as well. So everything's very streamlined. We fill out all the paperwork for them, which is not paperwork, it's on the computer. And the patient goes in for their exam. While somebody else comes in, we basically just trade off. So while they're in the exam, either somebody else will come in, we'll pick out the glasses, we'll pick out everything that they need, and we'll just hand off and finish up the experience with the patient that's inside. That way, nobody is stepping on each other's toes and everything runs smoothly.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's something between 30 minutes to an hour, but that's only because there's a break between the optical shopping and the optometry side.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But if they're coming in just for the optical experience, they're
Mhm.
scheduled a half hour.
Yeah,
They,
yeah, it's
are
half
working
hour.
with
Yeah, it's
you.
half. It's usually
And
about half an hour.
what is, because this is seen by a lot of your patients as well as a
Mhm.
fashion accessory, are they buying multiple pairs of glasses? Is it a single sort of thing? And how are you moving them to more than one pair?
So something very curious about the store is, and that I did not have success in my first one, is half of my business is sunwear, which
Hey,
is
good
which
for
is
you.
very which is very difficult in optometry,
Yeah.
because generally people don't see your office as a sunglass store; they just see you as the doctor, as the OD. Um, so I am having multiple pairs. I do quite few multiple pairs per patient,
Yeah.
and I changed my hours to where I open on Sundays for a limited number of hours. I'm open Sundays from 11 to 3, and Sundays are usually just for sunglasses. On a given Sunday, I can do maybe 5 to 6 pairs of sunglasses in a single day. So it's worked out, and it's
Yeah.
and it's because of
And for
that.
those of us who are in optometry clinics and are selling, $75 sunglasses, that's probably
Mhm.
not what you're opening your office for, $75
No, no,
sunglasses,
no, no,
right?
no, no, no. My sunglasses, they start off at 450 and up. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
around those areas. Well, you typically have your entry level, which is my only kids line, and my entry level brand is Ray-Ban. Everybody
Hmm.
needs a Ray-Ban. Everybody needs that Club Master.
That's exactly. All right. So here's maybe the toughest question and the most important one is, Fabio, I want to change my office, right?
Mhm.
I am that first practice that you
Yes.
described. Rather than shutting my doors, going and working for a fashion luxury line like
Uh-huh.
you did
Yeah.
and starting over, what are some things that you think I could do to change the way my optical is running? Obviously, I'm asking this for my listeners, but I really
Hmm.
want to know too, right? Like, tell
Okay.
us what to do. What do you suggest?
Do you mean visually, or you're talking about your overall?
Start shifting towards this. Start number one, the
Okay.
mindset, right? This is a
Okay.
fashion luxury item.
That's right.
This is
That's right.
this isn't a medical device, but there's a whole lot of other things we could be doing too.
Absolutely. So the easiest way is for you to start just getting out, going out to see these stores. Go walk into a Christian Dior store, see how they treat you when you're in there.
Uh-huh.
Walk into a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci store or a Saint Laurent store, and see how they carry their business, see how they manage their customers. And that's going to give you an idea as to how you should start to present your store. Visually speaking, look at the way that they display all their merchandise, how it's individually wrapped, how they present it to you. Are they using gloves? Are they not using gloves? What are their outfits? Are they in scrubs? I don't think they're in scrubs. They're probably wearing all black, or they're wearing some kind of a suit. So it's those little things that will make the difference. It's picking up on those traits and knowing your brand histories. You must be able to speak about your brand histories. If you're selling Tom Ford and you can't tell your customers that Tom Ford was actually born in Texas, you're missing the point. You're missing the point about this whole thing.
And he's the reason that we know Gucci today, right?
Exactly. He rescued Gucci from bankruptcy.
Aren't you impressed that I know this about Tom Ford?
I am very impressed. I'm very impressed. Absolutely. So it's all of these things. They all go together, and your staff should know these things. Brand ambassadors, if you ask, they will come and train your staff. If you ask them multiple times, they will come and train your staff. So the information is there. It's just a matter of really, doing the homework and asking for that help, for that training. With my staff members, I built out a presentation. There's a PowerPoint where each brand has 10 talking points. I ask that they minimum know 3 of them so they can communicate that with their customers. That way, like I said before, I like to use this word, but it romanticizes the product. Yeah,
that's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. So what does the that training process look like for those employees that come in? Is it that they go through and they work with these ambassadors, these brand ambassadors?
Absolutely. So I used to do this myself. Whenever I added a line into an office, the first thing I would ask them is if I wanted some staff training. I'm always, we are always available, or brand ambassadors are always available to answer any questions for your staff. If you have a new staff member, it's key that they get these trainings. They need to know what they're selling. They need to know what connection an eyewear has to a certain product that's in the stores right now. And it's good to do this every couple of months. It's a refresher. It excites you again. It brings freshness, and you can't ever know everything. So it's always learning. You can always learn and learn and learn. Yeah, absolutely. But it's just picking up the phone call and reaching out to them and saying, "Hey, I would like to schedule a brand training from my office. When can you come in?" And they will do it for you. They will do it for you.
That's awesome. Fabio, I don't think this is the last time we're going to hear from you. I think you're making a dent in the eye care world. And I am so glad that you're bringing this fashion accessory experience back to optometry, like my grandfather used to do. Such a cool thing. Thank you for sharing with us.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm always here. I'm always available. So anything, just reach out to me.
Awesome. Where can people learn more and reach out to you at? Where would you like them to reach out to you? Socially, or what would you?
They can reach out. They can reach out on social media at at iBoutique Houston on Instagram, or they can email me at myiboutiquefabio@gmail.com. Or actually, it's iboutiquefabio@gmail.com. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much. And thank you for joining us for this episode of the OI Show. Stay tuned for more episodes and awesome content like we had here with Fabio. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you so much.